this paper 2026 was comparable in the sense of the unconventionalness of the paper, or the shock factor of the paper was very high and almost comparable with 2023 paper. And I would go as far as to say that this is much more tougher than the 2023 paper as well. They have given a bit lengthy, the options a bit lengthier. So they have changed the format similar to the 2023. They have changed the format. But another additional thing that they've done in 2026, which makes it much more difficult than the 2023 paper, is that the areas that they've picked to ask questions from. For example, generally we say that polity and geography and economy, for that matter, are the core areas of prelims, and we should be focusing on these three. So this is just to show how I would have solved the paper if I had written the 2026 exam. But it was very disheartening to see that physical geography was not much asked. It is a bit unexpected that they asked this, and it's a doable one. This is a correct statement. So they are asking not correct, right? So this won't come. So if you remove one, you're stuck between two options, 2 and 3 and 3. So accordingly, I think the cutoff will be decreasing. My opinion, the cutoff will be between... Hello all, this is Dr. A R Rajah. I've secured an All India rank 7 in UPSC CSE 2025. Today I'm here with you guys to do an analysis of the prelims paper of 2026. So we'll be looking at the GS1 paper, and we'll be looking at it from each subject point of view. We'll be starting with geography and then going on subject wise. In my opinion, compared to the 2025 paper, I've given a total of 3 attempts starting from 2023, 2024 and 2025. And my first 2 attempts, 2023 and 2024, I couldn't clear them. And I cleared the only prelims in 2025. This paper, 2026, was comparable in the sense of the unconventionalness of the paper, or the shock factor of the paper was very high and almost comparable with the 2023 paper, right? And I would even, this is my own opinion, I would go as far as to say that this is much more tougher than the 2023 paper as well. Why? Because of 2 major reasons. The 2023 paper brought in a new format of only 1, only 2, only 3 in the options. Similarly, 2026 paper has also brought in new format of questions. New formats, I would say, because there are 2-3 new formats that are brought in, where they give 3 statements followed by another 3 statements, and then based on those 3 statements, we have to look at the 4 options and then do them. And even in statement-based questions, the 4 options that were given were a bit different. They were like 1 statement is only correct. 2 statements are correct, out of which 1 is the second statement. They have given a bit lengthy, the options a bit lengthier. So they have changed the format similar to the 2023. They have changed the format. But another additional thing that they've done in 2026, which makes it much more difficult than the 2023 paper, is that the areas that they've picked to ask questions from. For example, generally we say that polity and geography and economy, for that matter, are the core areas of prelims, and we should be focusing on these 3, right? And even in 23, irrespective of the paper being a bit unconventional, the still questions were asked from core polity, like fundamental rights, etc. But if you look 2026, we are not able to find questions from core polity or core physical geography, like climatology. So this were all a few things that made this paper a bit much more difficult when compared to the 2023 paper. Obviously, if it is much difficult than the 23 paper, it would be much difficult than the 25 paper as well. So without much further delay, we will go into the various questions that they've asked. At the end, we will look at how much the cutoff might be. In my humble opinion, I have not looked at a lot of data or a lot of stuff about how people have done, but this is my own opinion of what the cutoff might be. So I'll be giving it at the end of the video. As well as the questions, I will be solving it as if I am solving in the exam hall. If there is a question which I don't know the answer of, I would obviously be skipping it. I'll be skipping it here as well. So this is just to show how I would have solved the paper if I had written the 2026 exam, right? So we'll start with it. So we'll be starting first with our geography. So geography is something which is, very important for prelims per se, but again, we generally look at the physical geography part much more, but it was very disheartening to see that physical geography was not much asked. We'll look at the questions in depth. Right. So this, the first question talks about in what ways does the Willingham International Seaport, which is Willingham, even if you look at the word, it is very, you can understand that it is from Kerala. It was very, very much in news, Willingham International Seaport, for this single word called transshipment. It's the first international transshipment port in India. So that was why it was very famous. So it represents a structural shift in India's maritime trade and logistics policy. So what ways does it do is what they're particularly asking here. By functioning exclusively as a domestic cargo hub. This itself is a reason why you will mark the first statement wrong, because it is a Willingham International Seaport and not a domestic cargo hub. So remove it. Next one. By focusing, while removing first option, we remove these two. Now we have to see 3 is compulsorily correct. We need not even look at it. We just have to check if the second statement is correct or not. By focusing primarily on passenger cruise tourism and heritage shipping to increase Kerala's profile as a maritime heritage destination. Again, this is wrong in the sense that they have talked only particularly about Kerala and not about India as a whole. That is one reason. And another reason is you need to know that Willingham is for the transshipment particularly and not for passenger cruise and heritage. So that is the reason why they both will be wrong, and these two statements are wrong, and we have to look for a statement with transshipment. And obviously here, to reduce the dependence on foreign transshipment ports, enhance revenue retention and reposition India, not just Kerala, but entire India in regional maritime trade. So your first two statements are wrong. You come to 3. So this was, even though it is not from core geography, it was a fairly doable question because of the fact that it was very much in news that it was the first international maritime, transshipment port from India. So that is why it was in news and they've asked it as well. Okay. Fine. Now coming to the next question. Identify the river of the Indian subcontinent on the basis of the following information. Again, even though they have taken it from Indian geography, it is again a bit unconventional question because you need to know about, the flow of the river, whether it is antecedent, that we have to know, and we have to know the origin as well, and whether it forms distributaries or not. With the fact that it flows through 3 countries, you can maybe eliminate T star here, and with this fact, which does not form distributaries, you can come to the answer of Sutlej. But again, this is, even though it is from the basic book, but it is a bit difficult in nature because they have gone one step ahead. We all know that rivers is a common thing that they keep asking, but usually they stop with the tributaries level. They ask the tributaries of the river and they just stop at that level. But now what they've gone much more in depth into each river, the countries that they flow through, the origin of it, and then whether it forms distributaries or not, whether it is an antecedent drainage system. They've gone a bit in depth. So this question, but still, it's a doable question. So, right. After each section, I will tell you how many of these questions I would have solved in the exam hall. So till now, I would have done 2 questions here. Now coming to this one, with reference to Indian states, which of the following is not correct? Again, this is a map based question and you should have done this question, but still it is a bit unexpected that they asked this, but it is a very easy question if you have done the Indian map part a bit thoroughly, right? And it's a doable one. Uttar Pradesh shares its boundary with the highest number of other Indian states. This is a correct statement. So they're asking not correct, right? So this won't come. So if you remove 1, you're stuck between 2 options, 2 and 3 and 3, right? Now we know for sure that 3 is wrong. We just have to check the second one. So they have told that Rajasthan shares the longest international border among all Indian states. This again is wrong statement. The only correct statement here would be the first one, that Uttar Pradesh shares its boundary with the highest number of other Indian states. So by removing that and knowing that second is wrong, you can come to C easily. So this again is taken from basic Indian mapping. There was a question in previous year as well. If you travel from this point to this point, how many states you have to cross? So now it is very essential that we have to know which state borders which other states and which has the longest international border and all these things, right? So this again is a doable question. Right. Now, even if this question, which among the following are the objectives of Rainfed Area Development Initiative under the National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, even though this question is, not something which is conventional, but it is still easy to solve. I'll tell you how. Encouraging monoculture in rain-fed areas, increasing rice cultivation in irrigated regions, enhancing productivity and minimizing climatic risks through integrated farming systems. Now here, monoculture is something, encouraging monoculture is something which is not good, because now we are moving towards diversifying our food sources. Similarly, increasing rice cultivation is not something which is a good thing to do. Encouraging monoculture and increasing rice cultivation is not something which is very good thing to do, because now we are focusing on diversifying, moving towards millets, moving towards other crops. So that is what we are much more focused on. So here, rain-fed area development would, and we have to see the word as well, sustainable agriculture. So for sustainable agriculture, monoculture is not a good thing, as well as increasing rice cultivation for sustainability is not a good thing. But look at the third one, enhancing productivity and minimizing climatic risks through integrated farming systems. Integrated farming systems, and they have talked about in much detail as well. This matches our sustainability compared to first two options. So if you remove them, you get to D. So this logic can be used here. So till now, I think we have solved a total of 4 questions. Okay. This was again something that was heavily in news. Your Strait of Hormuz. The entire Middle East region was heavily in news, and Strait of Hormuz was very much in news. Obviously, you will know that Egypt is wrong here and your Syria is wrong. So if you remove 2 and 4, you come to the answer of B. Again, this is a doable question because this was very much in news. Very much in news, and everyone would have done the international mapping part. As we do the Indian mapping as well, the international mapping also everyone would have done, and this was a doable question. So we have done 5. Now this, in my opinion, is not a doable question, because this, even though it was in news, Global Geopark by UNESCO was in news, still it is a bit obscure fact that they have asked, and we have to choose between these 4, which are pretty similar countries in the South American region. So even if they have given maybe some countries from different continents, maybe we could have used some logic. But in my opinion, there is this question is a skippable question, and you have to have skipped it if you didn't know it, right? But one theme that I identified from this paper, also from my 2024 and 2025 papers as well, and it has continued in 2026, is UNESCO. Whatever is being announced by UNESCO, you will be also seeing another question on MOIDMs, which was heavily in news because it was announced by UNESCO. So all these things that are now getting announced by UNESCO, the intangible heritage, whether it's the intangible list or the other lists that are there, as well as the global geopark list. So whatever is being updated by UNESCO, they are asking. So maybe this can be looked as a theme. If you're someone who is preparing for the next attempts, you can take UNESCO as a very, very important theme and read all the recent announcements or declarations that they have done. Otherwise, if you don't know this, it is again not doable. I didn't know this, so I would not have done this in the exam hall. This is a doable question again, and this is the only question that they've asked somewhat nearby to the climatology chapter, and they didn't go much depth into physical, as I said again. So now look at this. climate of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, they're asking, which is correct. Climate can be defined as humid, tropical, coastal. Humid, tropical, coastal matches with Andaman and Nicobar. So one should be there. Remove these two. Now we just have to check the second one. It receives rainfall from both southwest monsoon as well as northeast monsoon. This again is a correct statement because of the location of Andaman Nicobar. If you look at the location of Andaman Nicobar, it is so strategically placed that it receives both from the southwest as well as your northeast retreating monsoon as well. So that is why you go with 1 and 2 here. Again, a doable question. This again is a doable question. Here, submergent parts, they are asking about the peninsular block of India's geographical features. Submersion of parts of the western coast due to tectonic activity is a correct statement because we know that western coast is a submerged coast and eastern coast is a emerging coast. So the first statement is right. The only two options with one correct is A and B. Now we have to check if second statement is right or wrong. Presence of residual mountain regions such as Velikonda Hills and Mahendragiri Hills, both are present in your Indian peninsula only. So again, this is a correct statement. You go with B. Very easy, doable question. Which of the following statements with reference to Lake Turkana are correct? This again is a difficult question to do, but it is solvable. I will tell you how. It is the largest desert lake in the world. We don't know it, so we'll keep it. The lake is situated in the South Sudan along the eastern fringe of the Sahara Desert. Now, if you are someone who has even looked at the African map, you know that Sudan is down, while your eastern fringe of Sahara Desert is in a different place. There you won't be finding Sudan. Sudan will be south. So Sahara Desert is there. They are talking about the eastern fringe of Sahara Desert. So this doesn't go. South Sudan and this doesn't go together. So you remove the second one. If you remove the second, you come to 1 or 1 and 3. So it is a 50-50 now. Again, it is a bit, not doable, but still you can take a guess between this and this. Lake listed as UNESCO World Heritage Site, and this is also referred to as JHC. Again, UNESCO, a theme, a repeated theme. So this is right. So you go with B. If it was me, I would have marked B here because I had a fair idea that it was listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. I did not know about JHC, but I had a fair idea that it was listed as World Heritage Site. So I went with B. And Lakes of Africa was also a theme, PYQ theme. Obviously, we didn't know that they would have asked it in this depth, but still it is a PYQ theme. So that is there. And this second one you can eliminate logically, that Sahara Desert is there while Sudan is here. So that is the thing, right? So this we can answer. This question, I personally predicted it because minerals is something which they keep asking very much frequently, right? And this year again they have repeated critical minerals. Here in these statements, you can easily know that this is wrong, because rare earth elements is a very important topic both for pre as well as for mains, and it is an important part of the minerals topic in general, which is a very important theme for prelims per se. So remove the fourth one, you get to 1, 3 and 3 only. Now look at the first statement. So now we just have to check whether the first statement is right or wrong. Modern technological innovations including AI, robotics, space exploration extensively utilize rare earth elements. There is nothing here which says that, which makes this statement wrong, or it is obvious that rare earth elements are used by modern technologies. So like there is nothing to disprove here, and it is a pretty obvious statement. So you go with A. This was a very easy question. We should have solved it. Right. So in entire geography, thinking back, this one was a difficult question. 1. This was easy. Fine. This was easy. This was difficult. 2. This was easy. This is fine. If you use the logic, it is fine. This was somewhat doable. This is again a bit doable. Yeah. So we are leaving 2 questions in core geography. And as you can see, my opinion on geography, they have focused a lot only on Indian geography. They have totally ignored the physical geography book, which I personally consider to be very important. But still, it is an important book. We cannot skip it because anytime next year, they might ask again from that book. But they have skipped it this year. That is the opinion on geography. And 2 questions are a bit unsolvable. In that, I would have solved 1 question in this, which is that African lake question. I would have solved because I knew that it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But for someone who would not be knowing it, then for them, 2 questions are not solvable here, but the others are still solvable. Now we come to environment, and we'll look at how the questions are, and I'll give my analysis at the end of the section on environment. Okay. So in this, the first statement, this talks about the LT-LEDS scheme. The LT-LEDS strategy. Basically, they're talking about the strategy. This at a glance might look a bit difficult because of this was a new format that I was talking about. You have 3 statements here, plus which are the following relationships among these statements. This is something that is new that they've asked. Statement 1 is empirically supported by 2. 3 contradicts 1. 1, 3 together establish the premise. So they are asking you to compare and contrast the 3 statements, which is something new. But once you get out of the shock of looking at a new format, it is a very easy question. Now look at 1 and 3. India's long-term low emission development strategy. Long-term is the key here. Is crucial tool for achieving net zero emissions. Now look at the third one. Climate resilient development necessarily depends on quick and short term achievement. Long term, short term, which means what? Statement 1 and statement 3 together establish the premise of long term sustainability would be a wrong statement, and you can easily eliminate C and D. Now coming to between A and B, now we have to check the second statement. India's 4th biennial update report submitted in December 2024 recorded around 8% decrease in greenhouse gas emission. Fine. Now, what is the second statement? Statement 3 contradicts the approach implicit in statement 1. This is correct. So, because see, this is short term, this is long term. So, it is contradicting the first statement. So, they going together is wrong. They contradicting 3 contradicting 1 is correct. So, you go with B here. It is a doable question. Even though you might not know anything about LT-LEDs, this is purely a comprehension question. This is not a knowledge-based question on LT-LEDs, but it's a purely comprehension question where you have to comprehend long-term and short-term. Basically, a reading comprehension type of question. This is Western Whoolock Gibbons. For anthropology students, this would have been an easier question. But for others, I do understand that it won't be that doable. Like you will be knowing this because it is the only ape species. It is the only ape species that is present in India, and that too particularly in Northeast. It is particularly present only in Northeast, and this is the only ape that is there in India. You don't have gorillas here. You don't have any other apes here except Whoolock gibbon, right? So this is for someone who's from anthropology. I am a doctor and I took anthropology optional. So for me, it was a bit easy question. First statement will be right. So you eliminate these 2. Now we need to know if the second statement is right or not. They have specialized brachiation and can easily swing between the trees. Again, this I felt is a easy one because obviously apes have brachiation. Brachiation is basically the ability to swing from tree to tree. So that anthropology people will be knowing, easily swing between trees. They do have it. It is right. And third statement is wrong because gorillas, if you look at the picture of Whoolock gibbon, it will be very small. And gorilla is something which is huge. So strong and heavy build is not there. So answer will be B here. It is doable for anthropology people, but this is something that you should be knowing, that because it is something which is only present in India, only ape that is present in India. So that is the reason. Okay, so this mangrove ecosystems in the context of climate resilience, this again is a very easy thing to do because mangrove is again a very important topic, And if you know the basic of what mangrove is and what it does, then it becomes very easy. Now look at the second statement. Filter seawater, key to converting coastal land into freshwater aquaculture. Filtering seawater is something which is wrong, absolutely. So you remove these two. Now it is a tie-up between 1 or 3. Now look at 3. By withstanding tidal surges and offering biomass resources, mangroves function both as natural bioshields and livelihood basis for rural communities. Very correct. Mangroves entire, one of its major roles is this, acting as a bioshield for the tidal surges, right? That is the major important one. And it also serves as livelihood basis. An example will be the Pichavaram mangrove in Tamil Nadu. Pichavaram mangrove, it's a very beautiful place, and that acts as a good livelihood support for the rural communities over there. They go for fishing, they set up restaurants over there, they set up boating tourism over there. So it is important for their livelihood. So the answer is D. Doable question. Very doable question. This one, Amur falcons at the Doyong Lake in Nagaland each year for Mongolia is our correct. So this you would have obviously read about the Amur falcons which comes, right? But this question, it is a solvable question, again using the logic part rather than the knowledge part. Now look at this third statement. It confirms that Amur falcons have adapted to permanent residency in India. This is wrong, because why? Arrival of Amur falcons at Doyong Lake in Nagaland each year from Mongolia. So each year from Mongolia they're coming, which means what? They're going back. So they're going back each year and they're coming back each year. So it is like a visiting cycle and not a permanent residence. So third statement will be wrong. Remove C and D. Now it is 1 or 1 is inherently correct. Now we have to just check whether 2 is correct. It reflects the global success of advanced tracking technologies that guide migratory bird back to their stopover sites. This is totally wrong, because we do not, no man-made technology is acting as a guide to the birds. They have an inbuilt mechanism within themselves which God has created, which they use to migrate from one place to another, and no tracking technology is guiding birds. Birds obviously don't use GPS to come. So this is illogical. So you remove 2, you come to A. At a glance, it might look not doable, but it is doable when you analyze these statements. Okay. This is a question that I would have absolutely not done at all, because it is extremely difficult. See, they have asked about Sakya Sagar, which is designated as a Ramsar site, is situated within this national park. Then we just need not know that Madhav National Park where it is. We also need to know whether it is between Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. We have to know the year 2025 Tiger Reserve in India. So it is something which is not doable by me at all. The answer is 1 and 2, but I would not have done this in the exam hall. This again is a question which I would not have touched in the exam hall. Epiphytic matlab, it means that it grows on trees. That is the meaning of epiphytic. But then statements like endemic to northeast, state flower of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, all these are impossible to do. This is similar to the peacock tarantula question last year, which I had a knowledge, so I could do it. I did not use logic in that question. Similarly, this question, I don't think logic can be used at all to solve this. So this is a skippable question. Okay. Now this question, they are asking about the combination of 4 betters proposed by FAO for blue transformation, right? So which is related to marine and ocean issues. So here it is a bit of logical elimination only, because again this is a very dry topic that they've asked a question from, but still here logical elimination will work. I'll tell you how. So here better nutrition is same and better environment is same. So now we have to look between production and coral reef estuaries. Here, since production is repeated, 2 times, most probably it will be the correct option here. So you come to this one. You remove this and this, because production has been commented on twice. So most probably this would be the one that they're talking about. Similarly here, life has been written twice, right? So life will be the correct one here, and you go with B. And another logic here is better ocean. is a very small concept. Better ocean is a very small, narrow mindset, but better life in general is a very wide concept. Similarly here, better coral reef, better estuaries, these are very minor things. Coral reef is a very minor part. Estuaries is a very minor part of marine and ocean issues. Similarly, better ocean is a very minor part of marine and ocean issues. But on the other hand, better production and better life are wider ambits. Better nutrition, better environment are wider ambits. So you go with B here. I would have marked B, and B is the answer. But again, for someone who's this will work only if someone is calm and composed in the hall. And I understand this paper will not be making you calm and composed because of the length of it. So for some, it might not be doable. But if you are calm and composed in the hall, it is a doable question, right? This I would have not attempted. Again, not doable at all, until and unless you know this was the first REDD plus project, you would not have done it. So we have to not do this. Okay, so this one, which of the following statements in relation to Nirandar, National Institute of Research and Application of Natural Resources to transform, adapt and build resilience, a platform of institutions under MOF CC are correct? So here they are talking about this particular institute. We'll see whether it is doable or not. Ecosystem Survey and Analysis is a vertical under this platform, the lead institute of which is Botanical Survey of India, Kolkata. This we won't be knowing that much. Research and Management of Ecosystem Service is a vertical under this platform, the lead institute of which is Central Zoo Authority, New Delhi. Okay. Capacity Development Support, again, Indian Institute of Forest Management, Bhopal. In my opinion, again, this question is something that I would be skipping, because we should particularly know each, and it's not just about Nirantar. You should be knowing about BSI Kolkata, Central Zoo Authority Delhi, and Indian Institute of Forest Management, Bhopal. Again, it is a bit difficult to do this question in particular, so I would again be skipping this as well. So how many questions we have skipped? This one here, 2. This I will be doing personally. 3. 4. Again, this is something not doable. So 4 questions I'm skipping. This I will do. This I would be doing. This I will do. So 4 questions I would have skipped here in this. For someone else, it might be 5 to 6 questions. Geography, I would have skipped 1 question. For someone else, it might be 2 questions. So we will look at the end and analyze how many questions I would not be able to solve or someone else would not be able to solve, and accordingly we'll look at the cutoff as well. Okay. Now we'll be starting with the polity questions. The polity questions were a bit shocking and disappointing in the sense that they have not asked from the regular and frequently asked areas of fundamental rights, DPSP, your fundamental duties, preamble, your president, governor, emergency chapter, judiciary chapter. So they have not asked questions from these conventional chapters, but they've gone a bit unconventional, which was something different even in 2023, which was considered the toughest till now. There, even though the format was only 1, only 2, only 3, but still the questions were from presidential election and fundamental rights and basic stuff. But here, both the format has changed as well as the sections from which they are asking has changed. So we'll be looking at them. So this one is about something which they have included under polity, but I think this is something which comes under the ambit of governance, public administration and ethics for that matter. So this is what it comes under. But still, even though it might be again a shocker for everyone to read a 1-page question, it is almost half page this question. If someone is good in reading comprehension, for them it would have been easier because you read it fast and you know for sure that when you read it, it is accountability. When you read it fully, you will get to know that it is accountability, but you should have the calmness and composure in that exam hall, in that exam scenario of 2 hours to bring in that calmness and do it. But still, it is difficult for many people. So keeping this in mind, it would be a difficult question. But if you do it in a calm state of manner, it is very easy. I'll show you how. Mr. X was overseeing critical vaccination program. He found that a private service provider responsible was compromising on quality despite immense pressure to manage the issue due to vested interests, which is always a bad thing. He raised his voice. He raised his voice based on the principle of pub ad, which he learned during various training programs. He reported the issue. He raised his voice. He reported the issue. Why? And halted the contractor. Why is he doing all this? Is it because of delegation? Is it because someone is telling him to do? No. Is it because of equity? Equity is totally a different concept here. So this is not that. And esprit de corps. What is esprit de corps? Esprit de corps means something in which you are very much friendly with your batchmates. It is something about teamwork. So that is called esprit de corps, the spirit of teamwork, working as a team, and that all that. So these three are not at all related with this. Accountability is the one that is related. He is accountable to the public. He is accountable to his job. He is accountable to himself to be integral and to uphold honesty and integrity. That is why he is raising his voice and he is reporting the issue. So the answer is accountability. Very easy question to do. I would have done it. But I understand from your perspective as well, because of the exam pressure, it might be a bit difficult to read through it. But still, this gives another cue for you to develop that calmness and composure as well. If you are someone who is planning to give future attempts, remember this. Always be calm and composed, irrespective of how the question might look difficult. It is a half-page question. It starts a space in which 3-4 questions are there. There was just one single question. And the total pages of this paper was 26 compared to 22 of the previous years. 22 pages, mere 22 pages in the previous years. Now it was 26 pages, which shows that someone should be good in their reading skills as well. So being calm and using your reading skills, reading it thoroughly and fast and comprehending what is given here, you can easily come to the answer of accountability. Similarly, this question, right? Here it looks something which is very difficult, but look at it. Multi-ethnic district where both economic competition and historical grievances frequently lead to community tensions. A flashpoint has arisen with the government decision to allocate land. They want to allocate land for waste management facility near tribal hamlets, sparking protests by the tribal community, which claimed that the land was sacred and critical to their identity. At the same time, urban residents want what? Want the project because severe solid waste management and health concerns is there, right? The conflict has escalated with roadblocks, social media campaigns, everything. As a responsible government official, you are tasked with resolving the situation through mediation, ensuring a sustainable outcome. So, sustainable outcome of what? Two things. So here, tribals are fighting for their rights, tribal rights, and the urban people are fighting for their urban public health. So two sides are fighting for it. So it is upon us to bring in mediation, ensuring sustainable outcome. This is purely like a case study that is given in ethics, but still, it's a easy question. Look at the options. You will easily get to it. Successful conflict resolution process must begin with acknowledging the cultural concerns of the protesting tribal communities. This is very correct because we have to look at the concerns of everyone. So we have to acknowledge the concerns of the tribal community. Then we have to acknowledge the concerns of the urban community as well. So first statement is right. The government should move ahead with the project without delay to address urban health concerns which outweigh the sentiments. This is a very, very wrong scenario. You should never say that the sentiments of one people is outweighing the sentiments of another people. Both are citizens of the country. We have to weigh equally the sentiments of both of them. We cannot say this outweighs the sentiments of the tribal people. So absolutely wrong second statement. Remove second statement. You come to the answer. You need not even read these two. So this is how you keep calm. You read it thoroughly, you get to the statement and you do it. So these questions, even though these three ethics or governance based questions, even though they were half-page length questions, they were much easier to solve than a random fact like volcanoes present in Ecuador. This is my opinion. Now this question again. Mr. X is a civil service official, urban development department of a major city. Sorry, Miss X, because the gender is she. She was involved in approving a contract for public infrastructure project. During the approval process, she received a piece of confidential information. Note this down. Confidential information indicated that one of the contractors had a history of poor workmanship and allegations, very important, allegations of corruption, though nothing had been legally proven. These three words are important. This is again your reading comprehension skills. Piece of confidential information, allegations, and nothing has been proven legally. The head of department, Mr. Y, advised her not to disclose this information because it will delay. delay the project and damage. However, Miss X believed that withholding such information compromised transparency and public trust. Understandable from her perspective. Now, what should she do? Immediately disclose the information to the project committee and the public. A hasty thing to do and an extreme decision to make, because it has not been legally proven yet, and it is some confidential information. We don't even know the credibility of it. So, first statement is wrong. Recommend removing the contractor to protect project's integrity. Again, wrong. On what basis are you removing him? On the basis of some random confidential information. And it has not been legally proven also. So remove first two statements. You come to the answer of 3 only. You need not even read the third statement. It is the answer. But still read it. Propose a limited disclosure to oversight committee while keeping the information confidential. Very good. It is a middle path. She is not just keeping all the information with herself, but she is just giving it to a certain committee so that they can now analyze the information, check the validity of it, and legally prove that he is a bad person and then remove him. So this is the middle path that you have to take, the middle path of Buddha, as they say. So answer is B. Again, a very, very easy question. All these 3 questions are very easy, provided if you are calm and composed within the exam hall, right? And again, I also understand that it is difficult to be calm and composed when you see a huge question and already you're overcoming shocks from the other subjects as well, like history for that matter, which was very difficult. So overcoming those shocks and still being calm is a very difficult thing to do. But that is also what the role of a civil servant is as well. You have to be calm irrespective of what shocks are being put on us. So that is why I think UPSC has also set up a very shocking paper for us so that we remain calm and composed even during times of crisis like this, right? This was a very interesting question where they talked about the definition of Article 3. Here X was saying that law means ordinance, orders and rules and regulations. But Y is saying it also includes customs or usage. But X is not convinced. X is not convinced, which means that X is saying custom or usage won't come, which is absolutely wrong and going against Article 13. So the answer is view of only Y is correct. Some are saying this might be true, view of both X and Y are correct. But in my opinion, that will be wrong, because if X is correct, then Y won't be correct. So if Y is correct, then X won't be correct. So this option itself is illogical, right? So remove C. A and B though you will be removing, because X is correct, including the view of non-inclusion. This is wrong. Non-inclusion of custom is wrong. Y includes custom is not correct. This is wrong. It is correct. So A, B, C are wrong. D is the answer here. Again, a easy doable question. This again is a doable question. If you have at least once looked at the Bar Act, you will be knowing that all these 3 are wrong statements, because all these 3, there is no article, there is an article. There is no article, there is an article. There is no article, there is an article. All these 3 have an article. That is in the last part of the Constitution called as commencement, right? And in that, these 2 are given, as well as this, how it will be named officially. So all this is given there. So it is in the last part of the Constitution. If you have looked at the Bar Act once, this would have been a doable question. So the answer is there is no correct statements. But again, this is from a bit unconventional part, but still from the Bar Act. So we should be ready with this, because once in 24 they asked about various parts of the Constitution. So that is why I was a bit ready in reading about all the parts. That is why it is a bit doable. Now this question again, I was a bit disappointed with this, because here they are asking about the Act, the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act. Here the third statement will be wrong, most probably, because of the ministry that is being set up. I think that would be wrong here. So I would have eliminated this one, 3 here. Now second statement, if you look at it, the Abhiyan focuses on achieving universal accessibility across the 3 key domains of infrastructure, transport and IT. It looks like a very generalistic statement and a very enabling statement too. So I would have marked 2 as right. So it is between 1, 2 and 2. I personally would have gone with 1 and 2 and I would have made a mistake. But here the year is wrong. 2016, which I generally don't expect from a UPSC level paper. Generally state PCS do this thing of interchanging years. but they have done it, and that is why first statement is wrong and the answer is B. But I personally would have marked this question wrong in the exam hall. I would have put A. This is the mistake that I would have made. Here again, first statement on SCs and STs, the tribal areas of states of AMTM, which is basically Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. This is what? 6th. And here they have given 5th. So 1 is wrong, right? So, and see the new format. This is a new format that I was talking about, which is making it an inch more difficult. There are 2 correct statements that include statement 2. There are 2 correct statements that are statement 1 and 3. See how they are like twisting it. Instead of just giving 1, 2, 3, they are twisting it. Here, second statement is wrong, obviously, because statement 1 is wrong. There is only 1 correct statement. All 3 statements are correct. This is again wrong. So it is either between A or C. Some tribes are exempted. This is right. And Constitution of India provides reservation. This is right. So only one correct statement. This is again wrong. You come with A. This is a doable question. This is a easy doable question from the basic parliament chapter of Lakshmikant. They have interchanged unstarred and starred here. So remove this. The 3 is the only correct. It is the only correct statement. Very doable. Now this question about the committee, it is given in the parliamentary committees chapter. Again, that chapter is very difficult to mug up, but it should be mug up because they ask, once they asked about ethics committee, now they've asked about committee on welfare of SC and ST of the parliament. So they do ask sometimes. So that is there. And if you look at the chapter in Lakshmikant, you know that 3 statements are, all 3 are wrong and it is not a correct statement. I would have done this because I would have revised that chapter. Again, a difficult chapter to revise, but this is what it shows, that sometimes they can ask from chapters that we don't revise much. People will revise the parliament chapter, but not the committees chapter. And that is where it would have backfired. This question, the FIR part, they keep asking these days. In 23, they asked about jails, and I think another year also they asked about the Arms Act and all those things. So they generally ask about these criminal affairs and the criminal, the way in which the criminal procedure is done. And also as well, the BNSS has come new, so they will be asking it. So here, it is a bit difficult question to solve, but look at it logically. 0 FIR can be lodged at a police station, even though the place of commission is outside the territorial jurisdiction. How can it be? How can we do this? It should be under the jurisdiction, right? So remove this. Now it is, we have to just see third. Under 0 FIR, it is obligatory for the information to furnish information electronically. No, this is wrong. Obligatory for the informant. Why should we, make the life of the informant very difficult by making him do it electronically? The entire point of it is to make it easier for the informant. Here, it is obligatory for him to do it electronically. If, let's say, the informant is someone who's not having a phone, then how will he be doing it electronically only? Then it should be made possible for him to do it. So, remove this, you come to D. So even though it might be looking as a difficult one, if you eliminate 1 and 3 easily, you get to D. This is again doable. This, in my opinion, is not a doable question because you need particular knowledge of the ministry of each one of them, right? So in my opinion, I would have not touched this question at all. But someone CBI, personal, public grievances and pension, this though everyone would be knowing, but these two is a bit difficult to do. CEIB is not home affairs, and similarly serious fraud investigation office is not under finance. So these two are wrong. So answer is A. But I would not have touched this question because we need to know about all these bodies. It is a very difficult question to do and very random as well. So we are done with polity. How many questions I would have skipped? This one question. Then so just that one question I would be skipping in polity. But even though I've just skipped one question, The number of questions in polity is very low. That too from the basic static polity is very, very low. That is the problem with this particular paper. Now coming to history, what is different in 2026 compared to all three prelims that I gave is the number of questions from art and culture and ancient has increased a lot, and the importance given to particular sources like Rig Veda, that has also increased a lot here. You need not just, you should not just be looking at history on a surface level, but also go much in depth into the subject. That is what they have said. At least the trend of this year is like that. We don't know how it will continue in 27 or not, but this year they have focused. The focus has shifted from polity and geography to history particularly. So this question, Moidams, this was a very easy question because Moidams was very much in news last year because it was again World Heritage Site status of UNESCO it has gotten. It was very much in news and we read it in anthropology as well. So here this is the only correct statement here. Burial grounds of royals and nobles statement. 3 only, C. Very easy doable question this is. This not at all doable. There is no source for this as well. And even if you read about Hindustani music and Carnatic music, you cannot be doing this. I would have attempted this. I could have gotten this right because I actively pursue Carnatic music. I am a Carnatic musician. But even then, I prepared this particularly for my interview last year, which, because my hobby was Carnatic music and I am a Carnatic musician. So I knew Shankara Bharanam is Bilaval. But 99% of the people will not be knowing this question and it is not doable at all. So we'll be skipping this. This again, the Hilton Young Commission, we know that it is to, strengthen the rupee particularly. Here, I personally think that the answer will be D here, preventing depreciation of rupee because Hilton Young, what did it do? It recommended the introduction of RBI as well. So this was to strengthen rupee, I think. So I think the answer is D. They have some are saying that the answer is A, but I would have marked D and come. So we will wait for the official key and to check this. So I think it is D over here. This question again, here it is again basically what? It is something which is comprehension only. First statement says Pali texts contain first definitive reference to coins. Second one, literary evidence from Pali text is corroborated by archaeological evidence of punch marked coins from many sites. So both are talking about coins. And what is the answer? Above statements have been associated with which of the following? How is urban life now directly is it related here? In my opinion, it is not directly related to coin culture. So transition to money economy is a more correct answer to me and I would go with B here. But still, we are not sure of the key. Some are saying both are correct. But urban life, I don't personally think will directly be connected from this. So what are they asking? From these two statements, what is there is what they're asking. Generally, urban life might have started during that time. We don't know. But according to these two statements, what does it say? It talks about money economy. So answer in my opinion is B. Here again, this question, in my opinion, I think it would be 3 only because Badami, Aihole, Pattadakal, this is a logic that I would have used. All 3 are in Karnataka, right? Karnataka is southern and they have their South Indian and they have their own type of architecture and not a Nagara style. So it will be Diogad, 3 only. But we cannot go as far as to think this particular temple in Aihole will have Nagara. If it is true, it is an extremely difficult question and the answer will be B. But this is the logic that students generally use. Badami, Aihole and Pattadakal are in Karnataka. So they won't have Nagara style. Dasavadar temple is in the north, right? So they will have Nagara. So answer would be 3 in my opinion. Otherwise, this I would have maybe gotten it wrong. Right. Here, this is a basic question. Buddhism, Jainism, you should be knowing, and it is a very, very basic question in Jainism that who is not included in Jainism? It is obviously the demigods that are not there. It is again a very basic question from Jainism. This is a bit difficult. Joyous folk dance is a bit difficult because generally what people logically think is Bach caves is Buddhist, so Buddha and meditative phase. Maybe Halli Salasya, maybe that Sanskrit people might be knowing that it is somewhat related to dance. So people would have marked it, but my opinion, I would have not touched this question, or I would have marked it wrong by putting Buddha. So I would have done mistake. You can see that I am making a lot of mistakes in history because I generally relied on polity and economy, geography to clear the exam. If I would have given this exam, maybe it would have been very much on border. Maybe we'll still see what is happening. Yeah. This question again, unsolvable, because they're asking about place value system, and look at the statements. Earliest use of place value system was particularly found in Mangani plates from Gujarat. In 9th century, it became general in inscriptions. Place values have been found in Sanskrit inscriptions in Southeast Asia. It is totally not doable in my opinion, and I would have skipped this question. This is a pretty easy question, but again, a bit lengthy, but still easily doable. Now, look at this one. There is wide occurrence of spindle whorls, okay. Weights and measurements is there. House is built in large part with baked bricks and spacious courtyards, wells, large rooms, everything is there. Look at third statement. Statement 3 suggests that emergence of common property system. How is a common property system? It is an individual system, right? So if you remove 3 itself, you come to the answer of 1 and 2. This is a doable, easy question. This again, Eka movement and Bardoli Satyagraha is very easily doable from our modern India. Peasant movements they have asked. Here, third statement is the correct one. Bardoli Satyagraha was campaigned against the enhancement of land revenue, while Eka movement protested against the excessive use of extraction of rents. This is the actual reason behind it. If you have just read where it happened and what was the purpose of it, it is a very easy question to solve. This again looks difficult, lengthy, but doable. Irrigation from wells allowed agriculture to expand away. Okay. Drought animal power was employed to drop water. Fine. There is evidence in Rigveda of use of Ashma Chakra and Ahava to drop water. Fine. This goes with first statement, right? So, which of the following information supports the above statement? One supports it. So, one should be there. So, remove D. Second, mention has been made in Rigveda of the use of implements like axe and sickle. How axe and sickle will, do it directly. Here it talks about irrigation. Axe and sickle is used for agriculture. Here they're talking about irrigation. So this, does it support irrigation? No, these are not irrigation instruments. So 2 will be wrong. So remove that. You come to the answer of C. There is a confusion because someone might say this helps in agriculture to expand. But here, who is the hero? Irrigation is the hero. So which of these 3 support irrigation? 1 and 3 support. So answer is C. In my opinion, it is C. Doable. This again is a bit difficult question. I would have gone with 1 and 2 and I would have gotten it wrong because they are saying Yamuna once flowed into Indus and Sutlej flowed into Yamuna. All these, Sutlej and Yamuna by Robert Bruce Foote, might have talked about this. Who knows? I would have gone with C. This is wrong, obviously, because same species are not found, different are found. This I would have marked, I would have gone with C, but answer is 1, I guess. We are again not sure of the key. This again, I would have gotten it wrong, but I would have attempted it. So this empty seat represents, this again is from basic Buddhism, and the answer to this will most probably be D. Maha Binishkramana will be the most probable answer to this. But still, we'll wait for the official key because there is a confusion between these two. I would have done this. So again, some teams like Jainism and Buddhism have consistently repeated, and this again is a theme that is consistently repeated, asked in 2025 as well, where they ask the ancient names of the rivers that are there. Here the only correct thing is Parushni Ravi. I still remembering it as R, Parushni Ravi. Still remembering it as R and R. And 3 is the only correct statement here. 3. So there are some themes that have been repeated by UPSC, like the reverse one, Buddhism, Jainism one. But these easy parts have been compensated by asking extremely difficult ones and other. So that is the thing. Here, there are easy questions in this paper, but the ratio of tough questions is higher. That is why it is a bit tougher. Amaravati Stupa, again from Buddhism. It's a very important topic, stupas. Lower Krishna Valley, true. Andhra only it is there. In India, it was next only to Sanchi Stupa in size. Absolutely wrong, because there is a bigger stupa even than Sanchi. I'm forgetting the name, but there is a even bigger stupa. So second is wrong. Remove 2. It is either 1 or 1 and 3. Now look at third. Amaravati School of Sculpture made a lasting impact on the later South Indian sculpture. Very general statement. It would make an impact. It is a very important school. It will make an impact. So answer is B, easy doable question. look at the questions. They are not ending. That is what I was saying when I said history's weightage has increased. This again, Sangamage is a repeated theme. Asked in 2023 as well, 24 as well, 25 as well, now in 26 as well. Sangamage is a very important theme. You should have done this thoroughly. Chera, Chola, Pandya plus the Pallavas. These 4 you should have done thoroughly. Here you will know that Udi and Jeral is a Chera. So which is the wrong one? Not correctly matched is this guy. Some themes have repeated, like the reverse one and this Sangamage, Buddhism, Jainism have repeated. This one is a pretty easy question about Bose, Subhash Chandra Bose ji in Indian movement, Indian freedom movement. What was his role? So here, communists did not support Bose was a mistake here, and remove this. And first is obviously right, because Gandhiji was someone who had a different ideology compared to Bose. And in Spectrum book, which I use, there is a specific chapter dedicated to the ideological differences between Subhash Chandra Bose ji and Mahatma Gandhi ji, and that is what first statement says. So answer is B here. Again, doable question, but again, not a conventional question from modern history, but still doable. This question, personally for me, it was a bit difficult. I would have skipped this because they asked a British policy in Awadh immediately post its annexation. I would have not done this. I had not read this chapter. So it is a bit difficult for me. The answer is 2 and 3. I don't find any way to solve this. Even in the exam hall, I would have skipped this question. This is pretty easy part, pretty easy question, but they have played with this. We would have read, everyone would have read the Montego Chelmsford reforms of 1919. We know 1 and 2 are right, basic stuff, but third one is still a bit dicey. I personally would have gone with D, but we'll see which is the correct answer here. This not doable at all. I don't find any logic in doing this as well. Only knowledge is used, and 2 questions on music. One I would have done, but others would not have been able to do. And similarly, this majority will not be doing this. This again, Kshetra Patni. It's again a bit difficult. Few books are saying Atharva Veda, few are saying Rig Vedas, few are saying Arthashastra. Few are saying I think Ashtadhyayi. So we have to wait for the official key. And again, this I would not have attempted. Okay, so counting the number of questions, I would not have attempted 1, 2, 3, 4. No, this I would have attempted, even though it's wrong, I would have attempted. Okay, 3 till now, right? 4, 5. This I would have attempted 5 questions till now. 6. Even though I would have attempted, I'm considering for other people 6 questions. So 6, I would have not have attempted 5. For other people, it would have been around average of 6 questions difficult, not able to attempt in history. Now we start with science and tech. Science and tech, in my opinion, was a mixed bag, I would say. There were certain reasons that were very familiar topics like AI Summit and large language models. And they were all pretty easy, doable ones. National Quantum Mission, your Deep Ocean Mission, all were important missions in news. While there were certain stuff like the hull insurance and your black box, your stealth objects, swarm drones, a bit unconventional there also. So I would say science and tech was a mixed bag. Genetic medicine was an easy question from genetics. So there were a mix of easy and moderate questions in science and tech. And again, the weightage of science and tech has increased along with history as well, right? Consider the following statements about Mission Sudarshan Chakra of India. It aims to enhance India's air defense ballistic missile. Obviously, this is correct. Mission is being designed to enhance rapid, precise, and powerful defense responses. This is again correct. Very generic statement. Nothing to be made wrong here. So it is either 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2. This third statement, I personally think it is wrong. One of the aims of mission is to cover all public places of India. I think it is wrong in my opinion, because they talk about strategic places and not all public places in my opinion. So I would have gone with B, but some are saying A, so we will again wait for the key. But again, this is a doable easy question because Op Sindoor was in news, and similarly this was also in news. Very doable. This, the AI Impact Summit, again very much in news. A lot of controversies also happened. So this was in news all the time, and anyone who was preparing for 26 would have read upon it. And we obviously know here that only correct statement is this one, the New Delhi Declaration, right? So this is the correct statement here. The answer is D. Doable question. This one again was a predictable question because Dhruv 64, they asked Majorna chip in 2025. So they were bound to ask about these chips in 2026, quantum computing and chips in 26 as well. And that is why they have asked. And this was something of an achievement of India because it was the first homegrown 1 gigahertz microprocessor and third chip fabricated under this program. So it is a solvable question. C is the answer here. Fine. Now this again has been asked because of the Red Fort blast that happened. Here you can use a logic to solve this again. Here they have said that it was developed by TBRL DRDO in collaboration with 30th Central Scientific Research Institute, Russia. A lot of static points are there. So it is highly possible that they would have exchanged something. 30th they could have changed. Central Scientific Research Institute they could have changed. So removing 3, you come to 1, 2 and 1. Look at the second one. It will improve interoperability of equipment across agencies. Very believable general statement. So I would have gone with C. So it is again a doable question. This, in my opinion, is not doable at all because you need to know the person born in UK as well as professor in American University. So again, I would not have touched this question. So the Bharat forecast system, this again was very much in news. Look at the first one. Its objective is to generate forecasts at the Panchayat cluster level. That was the actual aim of it. Here it was developed by IIT Delhi. This could have been made wrong in the exam hall looking at the trend of questions asked this year itself. Generally, the ones that are collaborating and developing it, they have been given as wrong options. So you remove that in that question as well. We saw where we removed the 30th conference, that we removed. Similarly, here we are removing this and we get to one only. Again, it is a gamble, but we have to take such risks. So this one, it talks about blockchain technology. Here again, blockchain has been asked frequently in the past few years, and if you know the basics of it, you can easily know that 1, 2 and 4 are correct. How is third wrong? It is because of the word consortium blockchain. It is not a blend of public and private. There is nothing called as a public one and a private blockchain. So consortium is basically where instead of one particular person controlling, it is a consortium of people doing it. So that is the it's a totally wrong definition of what consortium is. So you go with C here. Again, a doable question asked from blockchain. Genetic medicine, very, very easy question. Why? Look at the third statement. Genetic medicine alter the entire DNA sequence. No, they don't do this. They just target the particular sequence which has the problem and then they remove it. They don't or change it or do something. They don't affect the entire DNA sequence. So remove 3. And second one, lipid nanoparticles and engineered viruses are used as carriers, basically vectors. This though is correct. So you go with C. It's again a very easily doable question. Large language models based on AI. 2 questions from AI, Delhi Summit and this. LLMs assign probabilities to the next possible words and then pick the one with the highest probability. Very good. LLMs process data through mathematical optimization to minimize prediction errors. LLM produce unbiased outputs. This is wrong. We are still to go to a level where they are producing unbiased. There is always a sense of bias. Somewhere or the other, there will be somewhat of a bit of bias based on the data that is being fed into the language model. So remove 3. It is 1 or 1, 2, and 2 is, there is nothing to make it wrong. It uses mathematical optimization. What else will it use? What else is there to use? So this will be the answer. This is a thing that I would not have touched because stealth, it is totally not doable. One thing is for sure, 1 and 3 don't go together. Stealth objects have very small radar cross section and are coated with radar absorbing material. That is one point. The other point is stealth objects are coated with metamaterials to increase the scattering of electromagnetic radiation. So to become stealthy, they should use either one or 3. They cannot use both. Either they should use this, have a radar absorbing material, number 1, or use this. So use a metamaterial. Second is correct. They can be detected using specific frequencies. Otherwise, they will be totally, we obviously have to develop some defense against these stealth objects. No? So it can be detected using some frequency. So 2 is right. So it is either 1, 2 or 2, 3. So I would have been stuck between this. I would have marked anything 1. By luck, I might have gotten it right. But this is not doable, right? It is a bit untouchable. This again, black boxes. Even though the the aircraft crashes, a lot of crashes were seen in news, still a bit undoable in my opinion, without knowing particularly the role of black box. 1 is not the role of black box. It is just to store the data, right? That is just the importance of black box, not to give this beacon of red light and all. But still, I would not have touched this. Green hydrogen, the colors of hydrogen is very, very important. First is not the color. I think it is gray hydrogen, the first one. So remove it. So 2 and 3, National Green Hydrogen Mission. This is obviously true. Then B. And green hydrogen is a theme that has repeated in 23, 24, 25 and now in 26 as well, right? It's a very easy doable question. This one, space program. In space, I predicted that they might ask way back in 24, 25 as well, because it was very much in news that time. But they've asked this year. So this is obviously right. These two are obviously a bit difficult to solve. We need to know the current affairs specifically here. So I would have most probably skipped this. So, or I would have marked D, but the answer is 1 and 2. This question can be solved. They use terahertz band of frequency to communicate with the command center. Individual drones in the swarm can communicate with other drones of the swarm. This is a fine. Second statement is a equal. It's a good thing which is hard to disprove. But look at this one, terahertz band. This can be shifted, easily changed from something else. So 1 is wrong, 2 is right. So based on that, you come to the answer of B. So why have I made terahertz wrong here is because it is easily possible to change it from terahertz to some other band basically. So we remove it and then it is 1. If we eliminate, we come to B. So again, a static point is there, which I told for that 30th Russian conference on Russian, that question as well. So when a lot of static points are there, it is easily easy to disprove it. So we disprove 1, we come to B. This again, genetic diseases, Genome India project, very much in news, very basic questions in genetics. It is not a part of human genome project. You remove 1, you get to the answer. Why? For the very fact that human genome project is a international one and Genome India is locally done in India, right? So remove 1, you get to the answer of 2 and 3. National Quantum Mission, again, it was something which is very much in news and very important as well, asked in a lot of test series as well. The chip as well we saw. So all these chips, quantum computing, are very much in news and they keep asking and they will repeat in 27 as well. So here both the statements are right according to the mission and you go with C. This one, Deep Ocean Mission, you know that it is not Ministry of Ports, it is the Science Ministry, so it is not this. Remove 1, you get to the answer. Some questions are as simple as this, because you know that Deep Ocean Mission is not something related to ports and shipping, it is related to research and science. So remove first statement, right? So talking about science and tech, how many questions will I be leaving? So maybe drone swarms, but I would have attempted this one. In space, I would have left this one. Green hydrogen is fine. Black box, I would have left. Your stealth technology, I would have left. LLMs was fine. Genetic medicine was fine. Blockchain was fine. Bharat forecast system again is a bit dicey, but it is a doable one if you remove it. But fine, if you want to add it, but it is a doable one in my opinion. 3. This one is not doable. 4. This was, in my opinion, doable because of the fact that you mark the third statement of lot static points are there. That is the reason. This was doable, very much in news. Quantum AI Impact Summit must doable. This was in news again. So I would have left 4. For others, maybe I would say add 2 more and say 6 questions. Now we'll be looking at IR and internal security. Another new trend was that internal security questions were a bit higher level, like usually 2 or 3 was there, but I think this time 6 questions were there in internal security. So that was again a new trend. We'll look at them. First, this question I won't be able to solve at all because they are asking the exact locations, Ramgarh in India and Sabroon in Bangladesh. So I personally would be skipping this question. So maybe if you guys had read it in current affairs, maybe you could have done it. This question again have not been ratified. I heard that the question is wrong as well. And again, this I don't have much idea about this question as well. So I would have anyways left this question. This high chances of getting dropped as well because the question like the options are wrong. Or we will wait and see what key they are bringing up. This question again, in my opinion, I would not have been able to do it. Only thing that I knew was that Star Palace is in Afghanistan. So this B2 will be right. So maybe I would have come to 50-50, but post that I would not have been able to do it. This question was somewhat easier because manufactured in India. So we know it is this, and Akula is not there. So the answer is A. This was somewhat doable and predictable from the previous year questions as well. This again, in my opinion, like it is a bit shaky because they're asking about the Colombo process, the Abu Dhabi dialogue. I am not that aware of these, nitty-gritties of it in IR. So I would have skipped this question. But otherwise, I think it is a doable one if you had read about these things and they were in news as well. So if you had done it, then it is fine. But I personally would have not touched this. This question again was in my opinion, was the most extreme question of this year, where they have asked you to do the years as well. It is totally unfair to ask this question because remembering these peacekeeping operations is itself a task, but remembering the years as well is something practically, it's impossible in my opinion. Hardly, I think, in the country, someone who would have maybe done it by, tukka, as they say, they might have gotten it, but otherwise it is again something that I would not have touched. This again I would not have touched. This entire page in the question paper was very difficult for me when I looked at it for the first time. The Beamstack question, that question, and the military corps question, how many military corps are there in which part of the country. Very, very difficult questions. I was talking about it and it has come. The core question. Again, totally not answerable at all. Not correctly matched as well, they're asking. This was a very predictable, easy question. European Union is a repeated theme from 23 onwards, they're asking it. So I knew this would be a theme in 26 as well. And the answer is C. Very easy, doable question this was. This again was in news, but for the current affairs of 2025 exam. So they have asked 2 years current affairs, 2025 plus 26 ka. So that is the thing, and the answer is 4213. It was very much in news during the exam prep of 2025. So I had read this then, so I would have marked this as C. This question again, it is a doable one because it was very much in news when the German Chancellor visited India, and a lot of other famous people were also visiting during that time. So we should have seen what all they did. And the answer here would be B. It is a doable one. So coming back to IR, I personally am a bit weak, so I would have left most of the questions. So I would have left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this as well, 6, this one, 7. So almost 7 questions I would have skipped, at least in my first round from IR, right? Now again, coming to the GK part that they've asked, we'll again be looking at them. They were also again some random questions. This I would not have been able to answer because they had asked particularly Nobel Prize twice. Which one did? Again, I would not have been able to do this. This is somewhat similar to what I, like Grand Slam tennis. Tennis was something I play. I know that Grand Slam has French Open, US Open, Australian Open, and Wimbledon. But here again, the age of 14 and your wild cards, all these are difficult points to remember, even for tennis players who are not actively following tennis. So it is again, I would not have attempted. Just again, in my opinion, personally, it is a very difficult question because I didn't know which was where. I think this is in UP, not Madhya Pradesh. So maybe someone from this regions could have done it. but for me personally it was a bit tough. This was a fairly doable question in my opinion, because this movie was very much in news and everyone would have read it. The marketing was done such that everyone was looking at it and talking about it during that time, and it was very famous because it also won the BAFTA, and it is the first film to win a BAFTA award in children's and family film category. So it was very much in news and in my opinion a doable one. So before going to economy, in here 1, 2, 3 questions not solvable. Now economy was somewhat of a breath of fresh air, you can say, because it was somewhat on the easy doable side. Even here they did not ask from the conventional aspects of your let's say your interest rates, inflation, bond rates. They didn't go into depth into the basic concepts like budgeting, etc., capital, current account. They didn't go into all those, but rather they focused on the peripheral topics. But still it was a doable one with UPI question and all those things. So we'll take a look at it. So Willingham Port, we already did this question. This question looks a bit difficult, the Airy Silk question, but it is again a doable one. Look at it. It allows Indian exporters to compete in high-end markets. Yes, because what have we gotten? We have gotten a certification. So we have gotten a certification, which means that it allows us to compete in high-end markets. It confirms that it also meets international safety, environment, and quality standards. That is why, because it is meeting all these, is why we are able to compete in the high-end markets as well. So the answer is C, right? Doable one. Yeah, this again a very huge question, looks looks difficult, but again when you read it, it is a doable one. Sagarmala seeks to achieve port-led economic growth. Fine. Success of Sagarmala reflected in significant growth in coastal and inland waterway shipping. Sagarmala 2.0 aims to 2.0 aims to position India as a global maritime innovation in the future 2047. Okay. Statement 2 validates effectiveness of strategies of Statement 1 vision. Correct. Statement 3 extends the objectives of Statement 1 by future oriented. Obviously, right. So 1 and 2 is right. So the only thing with 1 and 2 right is your B statement. So easily doable question. Hilton Young, we did it already. This one, Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan is our correct here. This first statement is wrong in my opinion, because like there is high chances that the dates that are given might be wrong. So in that object, if we mark the first one as wrong, it is either 2 or 213. The share of central funding is 100% for all states, which is a bit unheard of. 100% for all states and UTs. Maybe certain states and UTs might get 100%. So that is why third is wrong, and you go with B. Again, logically a doable question. Right. Here, drop shipping. I know what drop shipping is, because many youngsters these days, it is a term that is being used a lot in social media as well, because drop shipping is something what youngsters are trying to do, because it is a easy business model to start with on a personal level, where basically you are not the person who actually keeps the product in stock and delivers it. You are just the seller, and you use a third party person to stock and to sell, and you are the person who just sets the price. So this is called drop shopping, and a lot of youngsters are moving towards this model, and it is a lot of mentioned in the social media. So I knew this. And this question, again, RBI is a repeated theme, and 3 key sub-indices of the Financial Inclusion Index. It is given by RBI. Last year also there was a different index asked, but that was not of RBI. The Sustainability Index, that was not of RBI, but a different organization. So this indices is a repeated theme from 2025, which includes RBI. This is a doable question again. Now, this question, this I would consider an IR question, again a doable one with ASEAN. If you know the basics of what has happened in ASEAN, you know this Caledon and IMT. They are both are very important ones that are going on in ASEAN right now, and A is the answer here. ONDC was predicted was a news for your 2024 right from 2023 it has been in news. So I expected it in all these 3 prelims that I wrote, but they've asked in 26. Very easy question. Look at A, B and D. To mandate UPI based, no, not at all. To replace private, how can you replace private e-commerce players? Totally idiotic statement. To allow government control over all digital commerce transactions. Again, not possible at all. Impossible. A and B are impossible. So the answer is C. Very easy question. If you know what ONDC is, you can do it. Similarly, UPI predictable question asked in 2025 as well. Answer is D. Not correct, they have asked. Answer is D. Very easy question comparing UPI and digital rupee. Tokenization, real world asset tokenization looks a bit difficult, but read it. Tokenization is the process of turning real world assets into digital tokens using blockchain. Very easy. Second, tokenization offers 24/7 access, promoting financial inclusion. Obviously, yes, because blockchain is not controlled by the bank, so it doesn't have a fixed working hour. It is 24/7 and will allow the access to high growth investment opportunities for individuals in India. Obviously, yes, because now even individuals can put in their investment in high value investment opportunities. So the answer is A. So if you read it through, it is a doable one. As I said, economy, most of them are doable. Look at this question. Just environmental is green bond. Just social is social bond, right? Both together will be sustainability. Sovereign is totally a different concept. So the answer is sustainability bond. MSMEs, M1 exchange it is. So what will it be for? Obviously discounting of invoices and bills of exchange. It is there in the name itself. First, why will it give loans? Remove that. And why visit a credit rating agency? Answer is B. Easily doable. Then this economics is going to be the make it or break it kind of a paper because it is a bit easy. So anyone who scores well in this will be the one who is clearing the cutoff, because other places everyone will be making mistakes. Like history, for example, everyone will be making mistakes. But in these questions, someone who has done their basics thoroughly, they will be doing it all correct and they will be the one who is writing the exam. Which of the following describes the crowding out effect? Very easy question. This is wrong. Increases private investment, increases, wrong. Increase in taxes leads to increase private sector investment, wrong. It leads to decrease, reduce private investment. The answer is B, right? Aviation hull insurance, I would have left this. I have no idea about this, so I would have left it. Crowdfunding, again, very simple question. It is always in social media, so we know this. Crowdfunding is solicitation of funds from multiple investors through a web-based platform. Very easy for a specific project. SMEs are able to raise funds. Obviously they can. Why? Who is stopping them from doing it, from crowdfunding? This I would not have touched. I just know Malegam here. Other three are a bit difficult for me, so it is a bit difficult question. NBFC is again an easy question. We know that it cannot accept demand deposits. So it is either between 1 and 4 or 1, 2, 3. Look at 4. DICGC is not available. Obviously correct. DICGC, what all it is doing? It was an important theme. Which all banks are covered under DICGC? There is a list. That is an important theme. So 4 is correct. Answer is A. Right. This MPI, this a basic thing. Maternal health and bank account are only in the Niti Aayog version of MPI and not in the UNDP version of MPI. But here they have given it as common. So remove 3, you get to your answer. So 1, it is correct. So you get to the answer of A. A easy question this is. So economy is a total of 1, 2, 2 questions not doable in economics. Now I'll be telling you overall how many questions I would not be solving in my first round at least. So they will come to 2 plus 3 in GK, 5 plus IR 7 is 12. Then your science and tech is again 4 questions. So 12 plus 4 is 16. Then history 5 I would not be able to solve. 12 plus 4, 16 plus 5 again is 21 questions. Polity is 122 questions. Then you have your environment and geography. Environment 4, 22 plus 4 is 26. Then your geography is 2 questions. So 26 plus 2, 28 questions were a bit difficult and, you know, even untouchable in my opinion. So if you minus 28 from 100, it comes to around 72 questions. So 72 questions are answerable by me personally post my first round and first 2 rounds, basically. First 2 rounds of, solving it based on my knowledge and logical elimination, I can come to 72 questions. At max, I can improve this by using my intuition. And if you had noted in this 28, I would have left certain 50-50 questions as well. So all those questions, if I mark one among those 50-50 questions, it might come around to maybe 82 to 10 more questions or 12 more questions. I would have attempted between 82 to 84 in this particular paper. So this would have been my attempts here. And based on my attempts in 2025, where I attempted 90 questions, and almost in my first 2 rounds, I had attempted 86 questions. So see the difficulty level. In 2025, I had attempted 86 questions in my first 2 rounds, but here I'm attempting just 72 questions. So accordingly, I think the cutoff will be decreasing. This is just my opinion. No one else is saying this. I can be extremely wrong as well. My opinion, the cutoff will be between 75 to 80 marks. The cutoff will be between 75 to 80 marks in my opinion. That too in the lower side of 75, which is around 75, 76. You guys can disagree with me, or anyways, we'll get to know in another 2 weeks time of how the results are. So this was the overall analysis of the 2026 prelims paper. We got a lot of insights from this on how we should be going forward with our 27 paper, preparation for 27 paper. Now that polity has reduced, we should not be totally ignoring polity and geography. Next year, maybe history might reduce and polity might be asked higher. So we should not leave any chances, and we should prepare each and every subject with equal importance. I think that is the learning primarily from 2026. This is it for this video. And to just end with again the cutoff, I personally think it will be between 75 to 80 questions, and 72 questions in my opinion are doable post your knowledge plus logic, and if you are calm and composed in the exam hall. So if after all this it comes just to 72, which shows how difficult the paper is, because last year after all this it comes to 86, but it is 72, which shows you the difficulty level has increased a lot, and that is why I've reduced the cutoff as well. So we'll wait for the official answer key of UPSC as well. So keep hustling hard, keep studying. Now that pre is over, I hope that everyone should focus on mains at least for the next 3-4 months before taking up pre again. Thank you.